Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Another day, another just nonsense, random, broken element of Call of Duty, right? I'm just simply trying to go play some basketball while it's still nice outside here, and my phone is blowing up with notifications of Black Ops 6 and Warzone just completely breaking. And it seems like for no real reason, because there was no update today in either mode. It's just a typical Friday. We got the whole new event going on. Everything seemed normal. Waited around to see if there were potentially going to be any changes, any patch notes, any announcements. Nothing of the sort happened. I leave and the game goes into utter shambles. Luckily, it has been updated. It has been resolved. But the way that this broke just is another red flag, sounding another alarm for the situation that is Call of Duty right now. And it's a very nice descriptor of what Call of Duty right now is, and that is a mess. So this initial notification came across my timeline. This is what kicked it all off. Treyarch appears to have accidentally pushed live internal development playlists in Black Ops 6 for everyone to see. So everyone got hit with a playlist update, little update requires restart, right? And then when you booted the game back up, this is what you saw if you jumped into multiplayer. A bunch of playlists that don't actually exist. A bunch of random dev test playlists, basically, for when they're going through and doing QA and all sorts of stuff like that. There was an infected Nuketown test, a phalanx testing with different bots, a menu test, the automation rank up, a season 1 mosh pit non-native, like all this mumbo jumbo that doesn't pertain to anything that we're trying to queue and search for. There's no stakeout 24/7 here. What are they doing, right? So everyone gets this playlist update, goes, oh, did something change? Like, what's going on here? They boot up and they see this. And like I said, this just kind of kicked everything off because this playlist update went out and then all of matchmaking broke. So Charlie Intel then says the entire matchmaking system is broken in Call of Duty right now after this playlist update has gone out and shown internal dev playlists. Essentially, you could not jump into anything. You'd get this whole notice the entire time, could not complete matchmaking, check your internet connection. So they knocked offline the multiplayer playlists in the servers, the Warzone playlists in matchmaking, to the point where you just straight up could not play the game whatsoever. I don't know how this happens, but the fact that this is happening, not even when there's an update or anything, it just straight up happens randomly out of the blue at, 12:55 or whatever on a random Friday afternoon, is just unreal. And I mean, this is just Call of Duty right now. It's obviously been a bad season 1 so far. Since the Warzone integration, everything has been spiraling downhill, unfortunately, and stuff like this just adds on top of it. Obviously, we're coming up on the holidays. We know the devs are headed out on their holiday break, so there's going to be more so like a skeleton crew maintaining the game while the majority of the devs are out for the holidays. And this being, presumably the final day that they're in office, having the game break in such a significant way. Now, luckily, it was limited. We'll talk about the fixes here in just a moment, but having the game break in such a significant way without really anything major being done, just I feel like exemplifies this game right now, where it is just always messy in some way or another. Now, a few minutes after everything did start breaking, COD Updates did put out a post saying, hey, we're currently investigating an issue where players are unable to matchmake in Black Ops 6 and Warzone. And then they did go through and they have actually deployed a fix. So if you're booting up the game for the first time today, trying to enjoy your new event, check out the playlist and everything for this week, maybe use the new sniper, and then you saw that the game wasn't working and you gave up, if you were to give it a second chance, or a third, fourth, fifth, sixth, or seventh chance, they say they have deployed a fix now, and players are able to matchmake in Black Ops 6 and Warzone. You may need to restart your game to obtain that latest update. You may get like the update requires restart thing, but then that should be all good to go. Cross our fingers, and then it doesn't end up breaking again, on a random moment's notice. Funny enough, though, outside of the game just straight up breaking today, they've also been updating the Trello sort of behind the scenes without actually posting anything, moving a few things over into the resolved category tab, both on the Warzone Trello and then also on the Black Ops 6 general Trello as well. And I wonder if potentially some of the playlist updates that they pushed out maybe earlier today that were just sort of hot fix things, nothing changed in your game, caused this to break. Initially, they did say they fully fixed the issue where there were erroneous visual blood effects when damage was not actually being dealt to players. Obviously, this was in the patch notes a little while back, but sometimes they don't always clear things off the Trello when they're in the patch notes just to make sure the fix is fully out. So in theory now, you shouldn't be playing Warzone and getting random blood splatters without actually seeing any damage. Those client-side blood effects shouldn't be there anymore, which essentially just masks their terrible servers even more. So now you might land a shot on an opponent on your screen and you see it connect, but then there's no feedback, there's not a blood splatter, then obviously there's not a hit marker or damage dealt or anything, which just further, like I said, hides the fact that the servers in the hit reg is utterly atrocious. But this isn't the only thing that's been secretly like moved over into the resolved tab. The general Black Ops 6 Trello, which features some global issues, multiplayer stuff, zombie stuff, campaign stuff, has also had a bunch of updates to it over the course of the past 24 hours or so. You can see there's a ton of fixes scheduled here for a new update. We don't know when this is going out. Keep in mind the 1.65 title update that's on the PlayStation database should be coming soon. Soon might be my least favorite word though, because we don't know when that is, but that's on the horizon in some capacity, right? However, again, the resolved issues tab has actually seen a couple of new updates here. So the Prestige 3 calling card challenge with explosive surprise is not tracking properly. They did go through and fully fix that, and that was actually fixed as of this morning, about an hour ago when these issues first started going out. So perhaps it was like some kind of playlist update that they pushed out to fix a couple of these things. It was a lot of zombies, bugs, and glitches going on right now where the swords weren't doing enough damage, where you couldn't craft certain things that have been in the patch notes recently. But then again, like I mentioned, they add them to the Trello, they schedule some fixes, then they move them over to the Resolve tab, and we don't see any new patch notes or anything go live. And then suddenly we're sitting here with an incredibly broken game for a few minutes, where the game is just completely shut down essentially because of something completely random. As I mentioned though, even though it is the holidays next week, obviously with Christmas and then New Year's a bit later on, and the devs are presumably mostly out of office for these holidays like they have always been for the past few years, mysteriously we have this title update, the 1.65 update, just in the PlayStation database, and PlayStation Game Size, who posts all this stuff, says the update is coming soon too. So we might see a new first here for Call of Duty potentially in the coming days, where we actually get a title update going out during one of the holiday breaks. If it's going to launch early next week potentially, we'll have to keep our eyes out, or they just updated this one super early and this is a title update we end up seeing potentially right after the holidays. Like I think a lot of the events and whatnot end on January 3rd. It's possible we see some updates go live then that perhaps fix some things, and that's a part of this. So, and keep in mind, this next major title update, 1.65, that's a mandatory download for all platforms. It's not like a major file size. I think it's like 5 gigs or less then, depending on your platform. But once it's fully out, this will be a mandatory update for everyone. So that's why we're all anxiously sort of awaiting this one, hoping that it's going to have some drastic fixes as we approach the holiday break, where presumably the game's just going to be left in whatever state it is once the devs are fully out of office. Coming soon to, a download near you, obviously, as we get any new information on this, as far as timing goes, or if it actually goes out with some real changes in patch notes, or if anything else goes on in COD, like the entire game breaks again at random, this is the place to be to stay up to date with all of it. If you need to know what's breaking, if it's fixed or not, everything like that is here on a daily basis. So feel free to hit that subscribe button and turn on those post notifications. And if you enjoyed this video, a like on your way out would be seriously appreciated as well. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.